is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verses 1 to 17. In those days God delivered all these commandments. I, the Lord, am your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, that place of slavery. You shall not have other gods besides me. You shall not carve idols for yourselves in the shape of anything in the sky above, or on the earth below, or in the waters beneath the earth. You shall not bow down before them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, inflicting punishment for their fathers' wickedness on the children of those who hate me, down to the third and fourth generation, but bestowing mercy down to the 1,000th generation, on the children of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not leave unpunished him who takes his name in vain. Remember to keep holy the Sabbath day. 6 days you may labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. No work may be done then either by you or your son or daughter, or your male or female slave, or your beast, or by the alien who lives with you. In 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, but on the seventh day he rested. That is why the Lord has blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother, that you may have a long life in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male or female slave, nor his ox or ass, nor anything else that belongs to him. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Saint Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Hear the parable of the sower. The seed sown on the path is the one who hears the word of the kingdom without understanding it. And the evil one comes and steals away what was sown in his heart. The seed sown on rocky ground is the one who hears the word and receives it at once with joy, but he has no root and lasts only for a time. When some tribulation or persecution comes because of the word, he immediately falls away. The seed sown among thorns is the one who hears the word, but then worldly anxiety and the lure of the riches choke the word, and it bears no fruit. But the seed sown on rich soil is the one who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and yields 100 or 60 or 30-fold. The Gospel of the Lord.
In our Holy Gospel this morning, we hear Jesus explaining to his disciples and in fact to us about the parable of the sower. When he spoke about the parable, it is very important for us to think about the seeds. The seeds he chose were the same, but they fell on different grounds, which means the ground was very important for the fruit-bearing process. As they fell on different grounds, accordingly, they bore fruit as well. Some, of course, didn't even bear fruit. Some even didn't give a good growth, in fact. So therefore, if we are to reflect on this beautiful parable as Jesus explained it to us, it's very important for us to ask ourselves, what is he speaking about? The seeds were the word of God, as it is clearly given in the parable in the explanation. And the grounds on which they fell, they are our hearts, our lives. In fact, they are our daily existence, how we practice our day-to-day activities, how we practice our day-to-day living. And let me ask you, when you hear the word of God, how do you accept it? And more than anything else, how do you put it to practice? Or should I put it in a different way? How do you live the word of God? And that's how we know that we are faithful to the word of God. When we live the word of God, Jesus will definitely tell us that we are being faithful to the word of God. Therefore, we bear fruit by following the word of God. And this is what will define our faithfulness to the word of God. If you love the word of God, if you read the word of God, if you go for services and meditate on the word of God, it is inevitable that we should also live a life based on the word of God. And that will define how faithful of a Catholic you are, how faithful of Catholics we are. And therefore, let us ask for the grace as we reflect on this beautiful parable.